Hi, Neil here with Covers Camo, your source for custom seat covers. Today we're installing the seat covers on the 2023 Polaris Ranger XP 1000 Crew. So the front and rear seats we're going to be putting on today. Midnight Croc for the insert, Mossy Oak Bottomland for the trim. Really nice looking combination. Let's show these steps on the install. All right, so we're getting started on this 2023 Polaris Ranger XP 1000. It's got the bolstered seats on it here. Now we're getting started on this install. And the first piece that we're gonna do is the driver bottom. So I have the cover. It's an awesome looking set here with Midnight Croc, so jet black croc for the insert section, Mossy Oak Bottomland for the trim, camo and exotic combo, really cool. So underneath the cover here, you're gonna see there is gonna be a draw cord. We're gonna get that draw cord ready here. Just untie the knots that it comes. There's knots in are in it when it's coming into the shipping box. Get that up, and then there's gonna be two Velcro straps right here. We're gonna loosen those up like this. And you can see here's the MOLLE gun pocket right there for concealed pistol storage. Right there, it's great having that. Now this driver bottom right here, you can see this bottom lifts up. There's a little clip on the back right here, and you're just gonna pull this up right here, and then that lifts up. Now you actually can remove this entire seat out of here if you work at it enough. There's two little clips on the bottom down here, but I'm not going to do that. You don't need to for the install on this. So it just lifts up really simply, easy. Now we're going to take this cover and then slide this cover on. So and it's almost easier to install the cover inside the vehicle, not removed, because then it gives you a little bit more stability as you're pulling it on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start stretching this over like that, over the corners. And I'm going to make sure I have a good fitment really before I start doing the straps and buckles on this. So I'm going to get it around those corners, pull it around. I got that back corner on, this corner on right there. That's looking good. I'm just pulling that down a little bit more, making sure these front corners are looking good. Now you're gonna see me do this throughout the install, a lot of massaging, and that helps a ton. So that's just a great trick for you as you're installing seat covers, whether it be on your truck or your side-by-side. Once you get the cover on in place, start massaging over the seat like that, because that just helps the seat cover start to take form over the seat. It can also help you just get it over the seat and just in place a lot better. Okay, so I have that over the corners. That front seam is looking good. Things are lined up there, so not too hard to get that pulled over. And next thing I'm going to do is there's this draw cord right here. Okay, so this is coming on both sides right here. I'm going to pull this nice and tight and get this tightened up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a loop on one side, tie a knot in a loop right here, okay? So then I have a noose right here, so you can see that. So there's a noose on one side right here, and then from the other side, I'm gonna take this over here, and I'm gonna go through that noose, right, like this, okay? So I'm going through that noose with the other draw cord, and then I'm just gonna start to adjust that, so then it pulls things nice and tight. And again, we guarantee a nice tight fit cover for your side-by-side or for your truck, whatever it is that you're installing. We are gonna make sure that it fits on nice and tight for you. These install videos, watching these are always super helpful to make sure you can get it on right. Okay, so I have that nice and snug. You can see there's that draw cord, nice and snug right there. And just give that one more pull right there. So now what I'm gonna do is pinch that with one hand, with my other hand I should say, right here, and then tie this off. So that way it doesn't pull back right there. Okay, so you got that. And then I'm gonna throw another loop in it just so it gets tied off right here. And however you tie that, I kind of have my way of doing it, but yeah, just tie that off right there. Now the draw cord is done with that. Now what we're gonna do is take these Velcro straps. These Velcro straps need to come back and we'll stick down. Okay, so I got one here. And then let's make sure we get this other one pulled through. There it is. It was just kind of caught up in the seat cover a little bit. So I got this other strap right here. So here's these two Velcro straps. What I'm doing here is I'm just gonna take that cover, massage over the cover a little bit, like this. Pull that. That's gonna pull the slack out. Okay. And when I'm pulling on that, I'm just gonna grab that cover nice and tight right here. You know, pull that cover around like that. And then when I have that cover pull down nice and tight right there, I'm gonna take that Velcro and I'm going over the draw cord that I just tied up. And now what I'm gonna do is take that Velcro and stick that Velcro down. I think that's the biggest trick when it's Velcro like this, is taking the seat cover and pulling the slack out first before you attach that Velcro. Some of the seat covers that we offer, they're gonna have straps and buckles, and that allows you to kind of adjust the tightness a little bit more, but Velcro doesn't allow you to do that. You gotta pull out the slack first and then stick that Velcro down. Okay, so just got the other side right there. So we're good there. Just gonna tuck that extra draw cord into the bottom of the seat there a little bit just to get it out of the way. Okay. All right, so that all looks good right there. And you can see how nice and tight fitting that cover is right now. So that's how you want it right there. And then this is just gonna clip back down. There it is. There's that clip. There's that plastic clip that clips back in. Okay, so that driver bottom is all done. Again, 2 straps, draw cord, cinch that down. Looks great. Snug up great. Now the next piece that we're gonna do is the driver backrest. Okay, so here is the driver backrest. Looks like this right here. Here's the top section right here. Here's the bottom. Now, biggest tip with this when you're doing the driver backrest is your driver's seat slides forward. Polaris does that in case if you got a shorter person driving, you know, and if you need to move the seat up to reach the pedals, so that'll slide forward. So that ends up giving you a lot more space on the backside. So it makes the backrest a little bit easier. I got some tips on what to do on the passenger side when you don't have that, when it doesn't slide forward, and we're still going to be able to get the straps down because there's these straps that you need to pass down the back. We're going to go to these buckles down here. Okay, so we're going to go to these buckles, cinch up to these buckles, and lock this all in nice and tight. Okay? So we're getting this fit on right here, like that. Again, I like to kind of fit it on a little bit before we start strapping things up. Okay, so here's this bottom corner right here. Polaris came out with these newer bolstered seats. They're great seats, but you have to work at the install just a little bit more to get it over these bolsters. But and this is a newly designed cover specifically for bolstered seats. So if your Polaris doesn't have bolstered seats, it would be a different pattern, a different seat cover altogether. Okay. So now I'm just getting this around those bottom corners. Gonna do some massaging here in a second on the seat cover. But now that I got it pretty close in place, the next thing I'm gonna start to do is get some straps passed down to the buckles. So I'm taking those straps, again, since I moved the seat forward, super easy, a lot of space on the back side right here to drop those straps down. And we'll get these straps passed down here, and then they're gonna go to these buckles, okay? So here's the first one that I'm gonna start doing. And I always go through the middle slot and then the outside slot. The outside slot is the one that has the teeth, And so that's really the way to go through these buckles. Okay, so now once I go through it like that, and again, tons of space on this driver's seat, this front driver, so I can fit my hand on the back side right here and just pull up right there. Okay, and so that's easy right there. Now that I have one strap down, I'm just gonna pull that down a little bit more. Okay, and then you just go through and do all of your straps to make sure that things are fitting down nice and tight right there. Now you can see what I'm doing here is I'm massaging on the front side while I take this strap on the back. Here's that strap I just passed through on the back right here, and I'm pulling while I massage, and that's gonna help get any slack out of that front part of the seat right there. Okay, so I have those straps and buckles all done now. The last step here is to take the elastic. There's this elastic on both sides right here. And maybe you wonder, what do I do with these? Well, these are gonna go together and they can either tie off to each other, which is what I always do, or you can tie them off to a strap, one of the straps that you've already secured. And that just helps kind of bring these corners in a little bit more. You can see once we bring those corners in, that'll help tighten things up a little bit more here on the sides right there. So what we're gonna do is tie these two together on the back, and so you can see it. What I'm doing here is I'm just bringing these two together, and then I'm gonna tie them off. Now, one thing that will help me do that is I'm actually just gonna tie this one in half. It's gonna shorten this one up a little bit, and then that makes a little smaller loop, just because this was a little bit extra elastic than what I normally need. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking one elastic and putting it through the other, through that small loop that I just made, and now essentially just the same way that I did that draw cord, tying a little noose on one side, and then that allows me to kind of adjust this to my desired tightness on it. Okay, so I have that snug. Now I'm gonna take one hand and pinch it together and then tie a knot in it right there. And then I'll throw another loop in that as well. Okay, so we're just tying that off essentially, so just simply tie those elastics together. That's really the step here, is tie those together, or if for some reason you can't reach them together, then just tie them off to one of the straps. It's just to help these corners hug in a little bit more. So now that I have that tied, I can work these, massage over that corner a little bit more. That's what I'm gonna do here, is massage over that corner, and that elastic's gonna pull that in any slack as I push that slack down there. Okay, I'm gonna work on this corner right here a little bit more, like that. And that's what I like doing, is just keep massaging over that seat, and then that just really helps to get that work in and around those corners right there. Okay, so that that's all looking great on the driver backrest now. You can see that's all nice and tight right there. So backrest is done, bottom is done. Now it's time to move over to the passenger side. The passenger is a separate seat, 60/40 in the seat here. So 60 larger section on the passenger, 40 over on the driver. And we're gonna move on to that. And then we'll also be doing the rear seats on this, which is a solid backrest, 60/40 bottom. So unique seats, but it's always custom fit to whatever your vehicle is that you're doing. So we guarantee that it'll fit. You just got to give us the right year, make, model, and work with us to make sure we are, you have the right seat style, and it all works out great when you get this on. So now we're gonna move over to the passenger side. I'll get those covers. Now we're here on the passenger bottom cover. Again, this is the passenger bottom that flips up. You have storage space underneath here, which is awesome that Polaris has done that. And the cover's gonna allow you to still fold and function that seat just how you should. You know, a couple simple steps to just untie this draw cord right here, like that. We're gonna take these straps right here, these Velcro straps, unhook those. Okay. Now this is gonna be the front side right up here. You can see how it's a little taller right here, and it kind of gets a little skinnier towards the middle section. And also you always know this is the bottom with the draw cord. Okay, so if you have a draw cord, it's gonna be one of your bottom covers, and that's gonna tie around the back there, and that draw cord always ties in the back. So if you have a position like this on the front where the draw cord's coming out here, well, you need to flip that around. So we're gonna flip this around like that. Okay, so we got that oriented correctly now. Now what I'll start doing is just fitting this over the seat, okay? So we're just gonna cap that corner like that, and then we're gonna reach over here. Get that cap right there. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'll do this draw cord just like I did the last one. Do that draw cord first, and then we'll do the Velcro. Now again, before you start fastening the draw cord and your straps, I always like to make sure that the corners are all lining up. So that corner's lined up there. Here's this corner. We're good there. Like that. These are looking good. These are pulled down right here. Okay, so here's my draw cord. A little better view for you to see how we tie this off now. So right here, we're gonna take this and tie a noose. Okay, so we're gonna take this, tie a noose around it. All right, like that. Okay, and then we're gonna take this other side right here and then put it through that noose and then tighten things up and tighten this draw cord up. Okay, there we go. So now you can see that start to cinch down right there. We're gonna pull this, it'll cinch that corner down, so it just kind of grips around these corners like that. It's all looking good. I don't have to crank too hard on these, but I just like getting it snug tight. There we go. So I did that a couple times, and I always like to pull this down like straight back where the draw cord comes, rather than at a 90-degree angle, because if I get that caught on a 90-degree angle, it's not gonna pull very well. I just like pulling straight back. That's why I was pulling down like that, and then making that corner. So I did that. Now I'm gonna pinch here, take this, and tie a knot right there. So I got that right there, and then I'm just gonna throw one more loop in it, like this. Okay, perfect. So you can see that's tight. Yeah, it's snug tight. It's perfect. Just how I want it. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is take this Velcro and stick this down. Now I could just stick that down, but what I want to do is make sure I pull the slack out first before I do that. So I'm gonna take my hand on the top, pull that slack out right there, like that. Again, pulling that slack out right there. And then I'm gonna take this Velcro right here. I'm gonna take this one, this top Velcro, stick that on, just like that, right there, okay? So that should have got that slack out, and yeah, it did. It's nice and smooth right there. We're gonna do the same thing with these other straps now. Pull that cover and get that slack out of that top, massage over there. Okay, so there's that next one done. Just make sure that it's looking smooth on the top. It's looking good. Like that, very good. Okay, get this back up. Right there, then we're gonna do the same thing with these two over here. Okay, perfect. So that's all secured now, right there. You can see how nice and tight that all fits on now that we have those secured down. So that's looking really good. Again, just massage over that seat. That seat cover is going to conform down really good when you're massaging over it, like that. Great, that looks good. Looks great. Okay, perfect. So that 60 bottom is done. Now it's time to move to the 60 backrest. Now the 60 backrest works just like the 40 backrest, so the driver backrest. The one exception is that it's a little bit longer of a seat, so there's more straps that you're gonna need to pass down. And this section right behind this right here, it's a tight spot, so I'm gonna show you how you can still drop straps down on the back side of this with a small little pry tool like this. You're gonna be able to push in like that, or a little wedge tool, something like this, where you're gonna gap a little bit of a space on the back side here and then be able to drop straps on the back right there. But I'll get to that shortly. First, we're gonna start fitting this cover on. Just pulling the cover over the, and now one quick tip is take this seat belt, pull this seat belt out, and then you're gonna put the seat cover underneath that seat belt right there. So then your seat belt's gonna be going over like that, okay? So just pull that out, slide the cover underneath. Now we're gonna start to fit this over the seat and start to cap this corner right here, like that. Start out, and then reach over here. I'm just gonna pull some of these straps out of the way right now, just so I don't have to deal with them yet. Okay, so I have that loosely capped over the corners. It's not gonna stay super tight yet, but I have that started. And then what we're gonna do is start to pass the straps down on the back side. Now, this one right here, on this section over here, you don't need to wedge it. So I'm just gonna take this down right here, take these straps, pass them towards the bottom here. Here's my far outside strap right here. So here's this far outside one. Now, also note there are going to be these elastics on the outside right here, same as what we did over here on the driver. Those elastics are going to tie together. Okay, so I'm going to go through this buckle, through the middle slot first, and then through the outside slot, right here, just like that. Okay. And again, this is the far outside strap I'm starting with, just to start to get this cover going here. I won't do it all the way yet, I'm just gonna get it pretty close, just so it's not sliding around on me as much right now. And then here is another strap that we're gonna this down. And again, there's space for these straps to pass down on the back side right here. There's like a plastic attachment, or like right here, but the strap just weaves right between that. And we'll be able to get this one secured down and go through the strap and buckle like that. I've seen some other seat covers on the market that it's just like an elastic around the whole thing, just kind of like a shower cap. And I guess that works if you just want something super quick. It's just not going to look very good when it's installed, and it's obviously going to slide around on you. So if you want something that's stay on and look good, then really the way to go is something like this, where it's multiple attachment systems to get it to secure down. Okay, so I got that middle one started right there. Now I'm going to do another strap right here, and here's my buckle on the corner that I'm going for. Again, these just pass down easy. Compared to the back seat, if you have a crew cab, it's a little trickier. So we're gonna show you how to do that. Or if you have a regular cab, it can be a little tricky as well, but I'll show you how you still get that done when you have the window shield and have your back casing right next to this. So some of the time I can fit my hand in, then I can grab that strap, pull it back up right there, and then I can pull that as I'm taking one hand and working the slack out right here. That's always nice when I can do that, because then I can really see what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm only able just to fit my hand right here and just tighten that strap, which works as well. I obviously like being able to pass it towards the top. Oh, sliding that cover over a little bit. Now we're going to move on to these straps that are on the backrest portion right here. Okay, here's another strap, and then this one will also pass down the back side. I'm going to pass this down right here, like that. There's the strap and buckle meet up. Okay, so I'm just gonna get that started. Again, I won't crank it down all the way just yet. And I'll get this one started in this camera view so you can see what I'm doing with this strap. Now this strap, it's easy because you just gotta pass it on the back. It's just open right here, so you can just slide it down, or just through the side of the seat, I should say. So let me put that on. Okay, so here's this outside strap right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get it started, not do it all the way yet, but I'm gonna pass that through this buckle right here, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this cover over. Give that a nice pull. I like turning it inside out like that too if I'm finishing this cover out. So I'll turn it inside out like that. Give myself a nice good pull right there, and then flip that over the seat. That's just a good trick, is if it's your last corner and you're trying to get it over, it's not stretching very good, just flip it inside out, pull it, then cap it. Okay, so you flip it up, pull it like that, pull it, pull, and then flip it over that last corner. That gets that in a little bit better right there. Now what I'm gonna do is this strap that I did on the outside right there, I'm gonna take this just on the outside of the seat right here. I'm gonna start to pull that up a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm just gonna finish now with some more straps going on the back right here and to buckles. And I'm gonna show you how to gap this on the back side to pass straps down. Now there's several Rangers seat cover patterns on Rangers that you will want to gap out, especially the older ones. And if you ever need to pass a strap down, I'm just gonna show you how to gap this on the back side here. Now, so if you need to gap the back of the seat to pass a strap down the back side, I'm gonna show you how to do that. Again, you're gonna first find, there's a top metal bar, okay? So, and this metal bar on the back side right here, it runs along right there. Find that bar first, and then you're gonna go right next to that bar, and you're gonna find the very middle of the seat, the center of the seat backrest. Okay, and you find the center of that backrest, and you're gonna take a little pry tool or a little wedge tool, okay, like this, and you're gonna push that into the backrest. If you need one of these tools, just contact us. We'll send you one free. Just let us know. And that helps to get that into the backrest right there. And you just wedge that, and it doesn't have to be wedged the whole time. I like using a plastic though, not a metal one, so it's not scraping your metal bar right here. You push that in, and it just has to be gapped just a little bit. I mean, it's not even a 1/4 inch. I mean, it's just a small little gap right here. And then it allows you to pass these straps down the back side right here. And I just pass these right next to that in the spot that I've gapped right there. And then it just slides in down towards the bottom. Okay, like that. Now I'll do it with this particular pattern here had two straps. So I'm gonna pass both straps down there, and again, just make sure I got that gapped. Yep, and then I'm just passing these down right here. Now, if you try to gap a different section of the seat where it's like this, where the seat itself, it comes up with this, there's like a plastic section back here. And you're not gonna be able to gap it there. You gotta gap it right next to this metal bar. So again, find that metal bar, and then you're gonna push right next to that metal bar. And there is this plastic that connects to the seat, okay? This plastic that connects to the seat, and that has a little bit of a flex, and you can just flex that, you just push that a little bit, and then it allows you to pass your straps down the back side of it. Right there. Okay, and so once you pass those straps down, you can pull your wedge tool out, and then you're good to go on that. Okay, so that is how you wedge this, and we're going to be doing that again on the back seats as well here, so that way you can pass your straps down and then have straps right here in the middle of your seat, which is nice because then you can get that strapped up, strapped up nice and tight right there. Okay, so again, I'm passing these down just like that. Now you're not gonna be able to like go to the buckle and then pull the straps back up right here and tighten the straps, just because it's gonna be too tight to try to get that back up. But I will show you when you're underneath the seat how to just get that nice and tight, pull that strap and buckle down nice and tight. So once I have those straps down right there, they've come through the bottom of the seat here. I'll show you that in a second. And then we can go to the buckles next. But then I'm gonna pull my wedge tool out right there, and we have our straps down the back side. Here are those two straps that I just passed through right here. You can see them. So I have those straps, they pass down from the back after we wedged that center section. It allowed us to pass some straps down that back. And that's just gonna help us get this part smoothed out a little bit more. So we're gonna go through this middle slot right here, like that, and then through the outside slot. Okay, just like we We always do, right there. Okay, so I've got that. And now we're gonna take this other one right here like this as well. Go through it. Now this particular seat, it has some insulation on the back, kind of this insulation board, which is great for riding. It's just awesome to have that, but it does make it so there's a little less space on the back side, because on some of the other XPs, there's not this insulation board on the back right there, so I can actually get my hands on the back side of it a little bit better. But this is good to have a video to show you how I'm gonna get this cover installed still. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna reach underneath like this, and my hand can fit, you know, like this right here, and then I can just tighten up that buckle right there, okay? So I'm gonna be doing that with both sides. I'm just gonna start working this up like that. Now, again, if there's space, I like to go from the top and do that, like I said, but this one there's not. So we're just gonna get that snug down tight right there. I'm gonna move that seat a little bit and come from this angle right here, maybe a little bit easier for me. Okay, yep. So that angle is just a little easier to get to that way my hand's going kind of straight up into it rather than around a 90-degree angle right there. So again, just strapping that up right there. And you can see how that has really helped to just tighten things up right here. Okay, and then we're just gonna finish massaging over the seat like that, going over it. Get that seat massaged. And just nice to go over it multiple times, run your hands over it. Again, that's looking nice and tight. I don't want to go any tighter or else it'll start to pucker there a little bit more, but that looks great right now. So the last thing you can do is tuck those straps up a little bit more, get them out of the way. But now that I have this side done, all looking good, what I'm gonna do now is go through these and just make sure I finish tightening all of those, okay? And again, a lot of these I was able to go from the top to tighten them. And so I'll do that. I'll just go through and finish tightening those, but that's essentially how you get that 60 backrest on. Again, straps, buckles. Oh, and you know what? The last thing that I'll show you on this video, on this part of the video here, is here's these elastics right here, yeah? And if I had access to the back side, I'd just sit on the back row and tie these up. But where we don't, there's this insulation, the board on the back here. I'm gonna take these two, just on the front, right underneath the seat here, pull these two together, okay? And then go through one of them like that right here. And this is just gonna pop on the back side as soon as I'm done with tying it off. But I'm just gonna pull it nice and tight. I'm gonna get that outside corner pulled in a little bit more. In this corner as well. Okay, again, that main thing is that it just helps get these shoulders snugged around a little bit more right here, and then also right here. That looks good. Looking good. So we have that all done there. Now that 60 backrest is looking good. This nice tight fitting cover, looking great. Again, last thing I'll do off camera is just finish tightening these. You know how to do that now. Some of these I didn't go all the way tight yet, but look how good it fits around that bolster, guys. Check that out. You know, it's just a sweet fit, and that takes multiple panels, right? 1, 2, 3 panels right there to work around that bolster. Just a nice tight fit. Love it. And I love this Midnight Croc Bottomland, how this is turning out. Okay, so now we're gonna move to the back seat. I'll finish up a few things here. We'll move to the back seat, hit the headrest, and then you're good to go on this install here. Now we're on the rear seat. This is the 60/40 bottom, and it's the exact same install technique and method as the front row. It's an exact duplicate. So 60 section folds up like this. I got one more strap to do that I'm gonna show you. This just as the last little bit here, but again, Velcro straps on the bottom, draw cord around the back as well, and then that 40 lifts up the exact same direction as the front row bottom did on the driver's side. But instead of a little clip on the back, it just has a push pin. So all you need to do is lift the back side and it will lift up. Okay. So you just lift it up like that. There's that little push pin right there. Okay, and then that just pushes back down in like that. And then again, the 60 lifts up right here. Same install steps. So just watch that front row again if you haven't seen that already. And biggest tip on this, again, is just to continue to work that cover as you're installing it. Sometimes you may put it on and be like, hey, that's looking weird, or it's kind of wrinkly here or there. Just keep working that down, massaging it. And as you take that slack out on the top, right? So I'm gonna take one hand, pull that slack down, pull that cover down like that, right here. And then get that Velcro ready right here. I've pulled that slack out of the bottom right there. I'm gonna hold that Velcro as I then stick this down right here. Okay, and stick that on right there. Now folding that down, things are looking good there. Just continue to massage that over. Nice and tight cover. That's just how it should work. So you still get access to your storage. Everything folds and functions, lifts up right there. That looks good. So there's that rear 60 bottom. 40 bottom was the exact same as the front row, so watch that install there. Now we're gonna move to the back. I wanna spend more time on this backrest. It's a little trickier, so this is where typically people struggle a little bit more, so I'm gonna spend a little bit more time on this backrest, show you how to install that. All right, now we're on the back seat again, and this is the solid backrest. So compared to the front row where it had a split in the seat right here, this is all one piece, all one large seat, so all connected. So it does make it the need for a seat cover that fits specific to that. That's why you want to get a custom seat cover. And so it's all one big piece like this. So we're going to stretch this across like this. We're going to pull that seat belt out just like we did on the front 60 section. Pull that seat belt out, slide the cover underneath, okay, right there. So we're going to pull that out, and then just like the front cover, there are straps and buckles, and then an elastic on the outside to bring those corners in a little bit more. So same method as the backrest on the front, but this one is just all, again, one solid backrest piece here. I'm gonna get all these straps pulled around on the front side and just start to tap this over right here, like that. Get those straps pulled out. That way straps aren't hidden underneath the cover once you pull that on. Okay, so we're just gonna cap that top just for a second right there. Now, what I'll do is I'll actually start with these middle straps and these and the far outside straps, but what we'll do, just to kind of keep the cover in place so it's not sliding around as much. And okay, so here we go. We'll start putting straps down, and I'll drop this strap down. Now, these straps, they just go down on the back side right there, and they pull through right there. So easy peasy on those ones. It's the spots where you have a strap that are right in the backrest area right here, those get a little trickier. I'm gonna show you how to do those. But on all these straps, you're gonna take it through that buckle, go through the middle slot, then the outside slot. So middle slot first, then the outside slot, and gonna go through that buckle like this, and just get that part way cinched. Not gonna go the whole way yet. Here's a middle strap right here. Now I'm feeling right down the center in the middle. There's actually a bolt where it's attached in right here. So I'm just gonna go on the side of that. There's plenty of space to go on the side of it right there. Pass this strap down right there. There we go. Okay, so there's that middle strap right now. Got that through. Here is the buckle. Go through that buckle. Again, I'll go through and get these all tightened up a little bit later, but right now we're just going through and getting these started so then the cover's not slipping around as much. Okay, I'm passing this strap down right there as well. Okay, there's this other strap right there. Now, if you're struggling to get these straps down, you could take a piece like a skinny, well, probably the most common household item is like a wire hanger, and just tape it on one end and then just kind of feed that through. And so you have something stiff, you know, a skinny stiff board, or just like a piece of wood could work too, or like some plastic, like a long piece of plastic or something like that, could also slide back on the back piece. I've always just been able to drop those in, so I don't use any other tools. But if you're struggling to pass that back, you could. I have had some customers use like a hanger to like a long metal wire to push that down. Okay, so those are good there. So they're just partially done in the middle right there. And then what we'll start to do is, let's do this side so we can show you a little bit closer here. Okay, so here's this strap right here we're gonna pass down. Now this one, I may have enough space where I can pass that up towards the top. And like I was saying on the front row, kind of nice if you can pass those up towards the top. Then you can pull it vertically up. And there it is. So I was able to pass that up to my other hand. Kind of a tight spot right there, so I don't know if I'd recommend that. Just it's a little bit harder. But here's this strap right here, and I passed that. So I went through the buckle, then passed it up towards the top. And that can be nice, just because then I can pull directly up as I'm smoothing that cover out. Wouldn't it be required? Again, I'll show you on these middle ones. I'm not going to be able to do that, so I'll show you how to just tighten it down low like that. So we're just working through here, getting these straps on. Now this is going to be the part where it's a little trickier on if you're putting these middle straps through right here. So there is a plastic casing on the back of the seat section right here, and we are going to want to wedge that. I showed it in the front row video, but I'm going to show you as well right here that if you're trying to pass straps down on the back side of this, you can wedge it, and you need to wedge it right. You find that back bar, which right here there's some insulation. Let's show you this here. So right here you can see there's this like insulation right here, and then I'm gonna go right in front of that, okay, because there's this metal bar right down here that is the seat has these hooks, these plastic hooks, like right here there's a hook connected to the seat, and then right here there's a hook connected to the seat. And right in the middle there's this gap where you can push a little plastic tool like this, or like a little wedge, and it just needs to be gapped a little bit. And then when you gap that, then what you can do is take these straps and they will pass down right next to that wedge. Okay, and we'll push that down and drop those down low there. So just wanted to show you where I'm wedging that right there, And again, you just find the far back piece where the seat is connected on to this metal bar back here. And that's where I'm putting that wedge tool. And really, I'm putting it in the center of the seat. That's where you're gonna find space to put in a wedge tool, right there. Now, if you need a wedge tool, let us know. We can get you one of these. But also just a little plastic wedge that maybe you have in the shop, or what was it, like maybe a putty knife, a plastic. I like using plastic though, so then it's not scraping your metal bar back there. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna take both straps now and slide them down. So you can see this one's going down right here. And when they go down far enough, then I can grab them with my other hand here. And then we'll take them to these buckles and tighten them up. So one little hiccup that I ran into was if you have this same insulation on your unit, really cool insulation, just kind of keeps the interior unit all just warm, and it's a great thing to have, but I will say it's a little trickier as you're sliding these straps down. So what I ran into is as I was sliding this strap right here, I have that gap right here, but I realized that the strap was starting to feed into the bottom part of the insulation, because this insulation isn't like completely adhered to that metal bar or the back side. And so there's a little bit of a spot where that strap was starting to slide into that. So what I needed to do is I needed to reach up with my arm underneath here, and as I was sliding this strap in, I reached up and then so my arm was all the way up in this position right here underneath the seat. And as that strap was coming down, I just grabbed it with my fingers and then pulled that strap out. There is enough space to get your arm under here. Well, for most people's arms. If you're not able to do that could be a little tricky if you have this same insulation. I've only ran into this on units, on this higher end unit with like North Star Edition, that if you do have this insulation in here. Normally, if you don't have this, then it just drops straight down. It's easy to grab that strap right here, grab that strap and then tighten it up. So I've only had to do this when it has this extra, I think this might be an add-on, like an extra accessory add-on from Polaris that you can have added on. It's just this extra layer of insulation that goes around, just keeps the cab warmer. I'm sure that's what it is for. But again, you can see here, right back there, see how there's like an opening right here, and then it stops right here, and it so it has the cutouts so for the seat to still attach back on. But the problem is the strap that I was passing down started to go on the inside right there. So if you're running into that same issue, know that you may want to reach up underneath. I was trying to think if there's another easier way for you to do that. So far I haven't come up with anything else other than reaching up. That's how I did it. I just reached underneath the seat as I was starting to slide that strap down, and then made sure that it didn't start sliding back in there, and just kind of pulled it forward a little bit, and then I was able to continue to feed that down to right here. So now we have those center straps down. So that's just a little side note. If you have that same insulation package, the upgraded insulation package from Polaris there, it could get caught as it's sliding down, but a lot of the times that's not even an issue, because a lot of your Polaris Rangers, and they don't even have that, so don't worry about that. But just a little note there. So now we're going to take these straps, get them tied up to these buckles, and keep going forward. Get this tightened up nice and tight. So you can see right now, before I tighten these up, it's a little wavy here on the seat, and we're going to start tightening these buckles up, the strap and buckle, and you'll see that all come out. Wedge tool, don't need that in there anymore. And so like I was saying earlier, I'm not able to get these center straps all the way up. I can take this outside strap right here though, and I can come on the side right here with that one and pull that up like that, so that's helpful. And let's finish pulling that over a little bit more like that, right there. And so for these middle straps, I'm just taking my hand right here, I'm just reaching underneath and just slowly tightening that up, just one notch at a time. Same thing there, and again, just running my hand over the seat cover as I'm tightening that. You can see already that waviness of that has come out there. And again, that's just from tightening these straps up and running my hand over, doing that massage technique. Okay, so that's all looking nice. Just get that pulled here on the side a little bit more. That, and as the last step, we're gonna be taking this elastic right here, tying that off to the other side over there. Now, when these straps, you can see these straps hanging down, you can take those and just wrap them around itself, that strap, just so they're not showing. You could tie a knot in them as well if you want to. You wouldn't have to. I just wrap them up and wrap them around themselves. They stay fine like that. Okay, so that's looking good there. Might do a little bit more massage here in a little bit. But we got this one on, so that's looking good. We're gonna keep, we're gonna go to that other side, tighten those on. Same steps of what I just did here. Just repeat to the other side. Just getting the straps down to those buckles, getting those buckles snugged up nice and tight, and then you're gonna get a great fitment, nice tight fit like that, okay? One tip for you as you're doing this passenger side, or I should say this driver side over here, again, this is all one big piece here that we're working on, is take up the driver bottom on this side over here, or just lift that up, because that's gonna give you a little bit more space to work with underneath here as you're taking those straps and doing them to the buckles. And again, I got all the straps down here. I got this strap on the side, this one done, then pulling that up, snugging that up. The last thing we need to do now is that elastic that I was talking about earlier. There's this elastic right here. We're gonna take it to the other side. Now, this is a long stretch for the elastic to tie off. I'm gonna first check and see if I have enough length to tie it together. If I don't, then what I'm gonna do is take these elastics and just tie them to a strap and buckle that I've already done on the back right here. And that works just as great. I kind of like doing the elastics, just that's my preference, but you can pull that together, pull that and tie it off to a strap and buckle on the back side as well. That just helps keep these outside corners in just a little tighter. Looks nice there. So last piece is that elastic. Now I'm tying off this elastic, and actually what I did is I just cut some of the draw cord from one of the bottoms, actually this bottom over here, the rear driver bottom. Just got a little extra draw cord. There was some excess. And so I'm actually still just gonna stretch this across to this other elastic right here. And I just like tying these together like this. So it's all in one piece. But now when you do this, don't do it like I was just about to do it. And you gotta make sure you're going behind your seatbelt right here. Now again, the other way to do that is tie the elastics off to the straps that are coming down that you've already secured up. But I'm gonna do it this way. Just kind of my preference. I like to tie them together here like that. I'm gonna go right through here, put a knot in it like that. Throw another loop in it, and then we'll be good to go. And then that's gonna have these elastics on those bottom corners just snugged a little tighter, and just gonna hold those sides in nice and tight. So okay, so we got that elastic. Now I can kind of push those corners around a little bit more like that, and then it's gonna help hold that cover on the outside right there. And I'll do the same thing over here. I'm gonna push that around because now it's that elastic's pulling on the back side right there. Okay, I'm just gonna finish going through, massaging the cover a little bit more, tighten up just a little bit more here, and then tuck these straps along the back so I don't see any straps. And then we're good to go on that backrest. Last section we're gonna do is the headrest covers. So I'm gonna take this off just so you can see how this installs. Very simple install right here. So here's the cover. Here's the bottom of the cover where it's sewn. There's fabric sewn together at the bottom, right there. Okay, and you're just gonna cap it around the top like that. I have a little too much fabric towards the top, so I'm just gonna pull that down, just make that adjustment right there. There's this center piece of fabric, and this really goes all on the center. So if you see this top line like wrapped around farther towards the back, well, you need to slide that back down. So it should just be that front face plate of material. It should just wrap, kind of go right on the front side right there. So there you go. That wraps up the headrest cover install. And we are all good to go on the seat covers now. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for watching this video. Again, this has been Neil here with Covers Camo, your source for custom seat covers. We offer seat covers for trucks, Jeeps, cars, SUVs, and UTVs, with really the focus on those trucks and UTVs. So if you have a vehicle, you're thinking about getting seat covers, you need to jump over to coversandcamo.com. We look forward to helping you get an awesome looking set of seat covers. Again, Neil here with Covers Camo, your source for custom seat covers.